Hello there. And as promised, welcome back to Stanley Ultra Deluxe Edition. That's a mouthful. Okay. Yeah, maybe it's easier for everybody to see the subtitles if it's a bit bigger. Okay. That's supposed to be right. Okay. Money? What was... No! No, Stanley don't want to be in heaven, thank you. Okay, let's look around.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
That's a different narration. Let's try to exhaust the left side first.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
My broom closet.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, another door. Interesting.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
That was the Mariella ending. I wanna go somewhere more evil?
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is new content, and I am unaware of it. Do we want to check it out? That means this was not, and I can assure you, was not in the original Stanley Parable 2013.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Oh lordy. The door is open. Oh, okay.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
But there's a way there. There is a way there. This texture seems movable. Okay. Doors. I'm sorry.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
The narrator is so good.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if, Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Give me the content.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle?
I can't jump. I have a button for it, but I cannot jump. I can jump in this. Oh. Or I could leave. What is this, GTFO in Rundown 5 and before, bunny hopping? Or for old school people, Unreal Tournament, double jump, double jump, double jump. Oh. I'm sad. I'm out of jumps. I wanna jump. I wanna jump. I tried. I killed my spacebar, but I tried. Only for you guys. Lies.
Is that it?
Yes.
Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box.
No.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good.
This is new content.
I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it
Stanley
is.
was not able to jump so far. So yeah, it's new content. Oh god. Click on everything. Now that's an office, dude. Every day you go to work and you just see this. The eternal oblivion. After a few years you will be like, just going through, oh, okay, I'm here for work, and then, why am I here? Why am I working here? Okay.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Nah. Aww. What's your opinion, narrator? The narrator is Kevin Bryden, if I pronounced it right. He's absolutely good. He was also a scientist in Black Mesa and the rework of Half-Life 1. He is an absolute gem in voiceovers and stuff. Anyway, so what's up, narrator? This is new content. This was not in the original. Yeah, that's what we should see. And that's what we did in the previous episode. 430. The 5 clicks, you remember?
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
Hey! There is a door over there! Anyway, I want to be Gordon Freeman. I'm an old shit, and I played Half-Life 1, even the demo, when it came out. Coffee! Boop. Okay, there was a door there. I need to remember that, so we can check it out later. Ooh.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
If it's gonna be Minecraft or Portal or something like that, I'm gonna be... Never mind. The printing machine, copy machine, what the fuck is this called? What is this bullshit RPG crap? Oh, come on.
I call it the memory zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Can I ruin your memories by any chance? I cannot jump. Oh, no. Oh, wait. No, never mind. Who cares about your memories, dude? I do well, actually. I can't go back. Let me call the police. I'm abducted by a narrator in an imaginary world. Okay. Zone Sweets though. I gotta make one of these. Especially because it's like cross-referencing GDFO.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched?
Yeah.
Back then, video games had integrity.
Yeah.
Back then, it all meant something.
Yeah.
Oh, the waste.
He has a point. The freedom ending. What we saw in the previous episode like 100 times. What a memory. Graph. Look at this graph. That's 430. Okay. 2013, when Stanley Parable was released. You remind me of I don't know why. SCP-035, I think. Good times. Hey, we didn't do these yet, so the one who doesn't even know the game, I shouldn't spoil it. 1951 on the mug. Why? Whatever. So yeah, there's a few endings, but he doesn't mention the very bad times. The original remake. Oh yeah. Yeah. It was delayed like for 3 years. In loving memory, the Stanley Parable. That's such a yeah. Smile because it happened. Trip down memory lane. $1, I guess. A demo. Stanley Parable alpha test. There's a big nothing there. Lol. Go outside, don't play for 5 years. Ta-da-da, I got it. Unachievable. It's impossible to get this achievement. I have that as well. Uh-huh. Creator is surprisingly down to earth. Okay. Yeah. Stanley Parable deals tough choices. True. And this is what we saw in the previous episode, the Mariella ending.
Je suis dans la mémoriso, c'est sous la pluie des velours, et je n'attends plus que toi, mon amour.
Hamster.
C'est là, dans la mémoriso, où je me remémore les jours où je t'ai rencontré, mon amour. Mais ici, c'est aussi où je me souviens de la sortie de The Stanley Parable.
Okay.
C'était en 2013, un très bon jeu vidéo.
The game started out as a Half-Life 2 mod.
Les journaux, mon amour.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
I recognize a few of these. I don't want to spoil it yet, because we will run into a lot of these. Person of the Year. Mariella and Stanley. Yeah. Engine development. The buttons we already saw. Oh, okay. Yes. Happy button. The greatest wealth is memory. What? I already forgot it. This is the weird point of the game, like, if something is obstructed, so you cannot access it, or whatever the reason is, it's like, it's an indication that you have to think about it. But it's a fourth wall as well, because yes, the game points out that you could access maybe there, but maybe not.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The
Raphael.
Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
The serious room. Oh yeah, sorry. I need to start the game in a different way to get into the serious room. Wait, what? This is a thing on the wall what you can watch on YouTube only. It's called the Raphael trailer, I think, or something. When people were like, I don't know if it's a joke or people were really flaming on the game, like, you know, harassing it, like, it's not having enough content, and there's no emotion and no whatever. And they made a big mockery response on that, and that was like crafting a bicycle and shit. And oh, dude, you gotta watch it. It's just type in Google that Stanley Parable Raphael, I think. Raphael trailer maybe, or Raphael version, I don't know. I need to go somehow to the serious room, which would be kind of a spoiler, I guess. On one ending. Well, actually that's not an ending, because some endings brings you to infinity. Am I stupid? Well, I could go back. Wait. Seems to be a bit of a gap. What is that? The red room. Oh, sorry, the red door. Red room is different.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back to have it all over again.
We will. That's why I'm making these episodes, dude. Don't worry. Don't worry about it.
Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Drinks. Coffee machine. Doors. Buzzing lights. And everything evil. What is this? We're in Half-Life 1?
Oh no.
2?
Oh, God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Hey, you have a positive review here. Chill out, dude. Let's hunt for reviews. That's a good idea. Oh, what we left there? I'm gonna be... I know I'm kind of a completionist or whatever it's called. Or, nah, no. I just like to find secret stuff in a game, especially a game like this. You can only enjoy it like once, and I already did it in 2013, and now new stuff is like, okay, let's see. This one looks like it can bring you up and go over the fence. Or I could just go around it. Never mind. Okay. I realize I found out nothing. Okay. Cool butter.
Door.
Positive reviews.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. To be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Oh no, dude. You should stay with the Stanley Parable. We all know what happens when you try to make something else than Stanley Parable. And those who don't, will see. Okay.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Why would I skip? Guess not the point of the game to skip everything. But that's a clock over there, so...
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people, and if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so, now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. that the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say, the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say, the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah.
245.
We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, until 245.
Okay,
that the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture.
Backwards.
It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say, the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture.
Sorry, dude.
It went on for nearly.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay. So my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are or were or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your Greek gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made, in fact, make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once, that you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them. Okay, at first, I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone? It has a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history. Ambitious history, if you will. See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto. Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay, look, I have a method for exactly this sort of situation, and I do find myself in this situation frequently. I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor. It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Treatise, manifesto. 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 Treatise, manifesto, 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 treatise, manifesto,
You're trying to make me skip again.
Treatise, manifesto, treatise, manifesto, treatise, manifesto, treatise, manifesto.
I see what you're doing
treatise,
here. You're not making
manifesto,
a choice. That's your choice.
Treatise, manifesto, treatise, manifesto, treatise, manifesto, treatise,
Well,
manifesto.
There was an ending where I had
treatise,
to wait like
manifesto,
4 hours.
treatise,
So
manifesto, treatise, manifesto.
let's skip it, this one.
Treatise,
I don't have time
manifesto,
for the video on this.
treatise,
Maybe I will
manifesto,
fast forward in the next
treatise,
time.
manifesto.
Oops.
Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works.
We both.
Perhaps that would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review, so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be okay with Steam altering this particular review so that it reads as something more beneficial, something along the lines of, "This game is the best game." Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality. How else to describe the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe? Such a revolutionary step forward in the lineage of one of the most beloved video game properties of all time. The additions and changes made to this expansion will surely resonate in the annals of the history of all media ever made. It is perhaps true to say that no mistakes are forever etched in stone, for the stone into which the Stanley Parable was carved has itself been transmuted, offering a message of hope to those who have ever erred in their judgment. You are not beyond redemption. You may change, and you may become more, so much more than you were before. If there is any message to be taken from the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, it is this. What a fortune, a privilege, a joy it is to have had such an experience. It leaves me hopeful that as a community, as a world, there is time for us to become our greatest selves, as great as we ever could dream of in our wildest, most ambitious visions for a brighter future. Wow, now Stanley, that's a review. It's perfect. It's the perfect review. It's the review I've always dreamed of receiving. I have to read it again. It's simply too wonderful. I have to experience this just one more time.
I see what you're doing.
From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality. How else to describe the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe?
Never mind.
Such a revolutionary step forward in the lineage of one of the most beloved video game properties of all time. The additions and changes made to this expansion will surely resonate in the annals of the history of all media. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again.
There's no door.
The skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait. How do we get out of here? Where did the door go?
Yeah, that's
Wasn't
what I'm
there a
asking.
door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort or a window or something like that.
Wait,
You see
the
a window
time
anywhere?
changed.
A porthole?
I think.
A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there? I swear there was. Where did it go? Can you maybe just ram your way through a wall?
I'm not in
Is there
VR.
any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave?
You didn't
Please,
make a VR
I'll
release,
take any
so
option at
no.
all. I'm asking you to work with me
Hint,
here.
make a VR
we
release,
need
please.
a door. We need a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door as long as it can open and lead from one room to another. I'm going to step away for just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door. I don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will find a way, I promise. You just need to not do anything. Don't press the skip button. Please, please, please do not press the skip button. Just wait here for me, and don't press the skip button.
Okay.
Got it? Yes,
Yeah,
good.
sure.
I'll be right back.
The problem is the viewers would already press the skip button like 100 times, and I'm way too patient for this. Another hour-long episode. This takes longer and longer. And I didn't even touch this time as much the original Stanley Parable endings. How long do I have to wait? Has the time stopped? No, the door does. The red one doesn't go back. The minute is not supposed to go forward, but at least the red one is not flicking back. Sometimes it does. It feels like I have no choice unless I find a door. Or I wait like hours. God knows how many hours. Sorry, dude. Gotta do it.
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always?
No.
Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me
You're
just
talking,
talking?
and my
But it isn't, Stanley.
action
It isn't the same at all.
makes you
It
get a
isn't even
reaction.
close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley, not the outcomes, not the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear me, then maybe it means I'm real. Maybe I'm not just a fiction. Was I scared of that all along? Perhaps, yes. Perhaps I've been scared this whole time, that if I stop speaking, I'll slip backwards into the silence and be consumed by it. I can't be taken by it, Stanley. I can't lose myself in the stretch of emptiness between you and me. When you press that button, you're still right there, but I know you're so tremendously far away. And in those moments, the emptiness folds itself outward in between the two of us. I am suspended in its unyielding quietness. I can feel the edges of my reality curdling inward and decaying. I can tell that I am becoming less and less
You're
real.
rambling.
Yet to speak to you now, I am alive. I am truly and completely here. I am a being. I am someone. I am something. I am being listened to. I am being recognized.
Yeah.
The emptiness between us has collapsed, and I feel right now like I am not a work of fiction. I feel as though I occupy space in this world again, and I have cast a shadow onto the wall. You see what I'm saying, don't you? You can see what this means to me. I'm so clear about it now, Stanley. I feel as certain about this as I've ever felt about anything at all. I feel renewed. I feel restored, and already I can sense the looming silence as you will press the button for the next time. What a terrible dread it strokes in my heart to think of it, to think of returning to such coldness. Come, let us sit in silence together here for just a moment. Let us anticipate it. Let us welcome it. Let us not run from it.
Okay.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously.
Air conditioner dead. Cool. Time stopped. The narrator stopped. Oh, cool. Well, actually bad. Skip into the nothingness, right? Because if this is iterating on itself, then it should go into absolute void, the end of the universe, and blab. Ow.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us.
We know.
It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs down review and make...
Water dripping, okay. High clock. You're dead. Okay.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
You're gonna restart the game, right?
Is never the end, is never the end, is
never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. We have a big time on water leak. I was saying that prior. Let's go to a few thousand years before, or after, or what? There goes my English. What? GLaDOS was around? Yeah, we gotta go freaking end of the universe, hopefully. Ah. Freedom. At last. Interesting. Okay. Ow. Yeah. That's the word we all like to see, right? End of the universe. Please bring me there. Hey, my button. Oh. Yeah, I know. Yes. Can I skip? Nope. The end of all things, I guess. But we still have a planet. I missed my skip button. Oh. I don't know what was that ending called. But you know what? New content. Okay, so I wanted to do the original endings, but it seems like we stumbled upon the new content endings, one of them. I know it was interesting, but I'm gonna cut the video here, and we're gonna continue. Anyway, thank you for stopping by, and have a nice day. Keep safe. Consider like and subscribe. Look around the channel, what you can find, and playlists and stuff. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye bye.